Need is the death of desire. Those 7 words cut deep, my friends, because the harder you try to hold on, the faster they slip away. You've been told your whole life that giving more will make someone love you more, that if you just pour out your attention, your compliments, your devotion, they'll stay forever. But the truth, the opposite is what happens. The more you give without boundaries, the more invisible you become. The more predictable you are, the easier you are to forget. Folks, that's the uncomfortable truth most men choke on. But you're not here for comfort, you're here for clarity. So stay with me. And before we go deeper, smash that like button and subscribe, because what I'm about to share with you could change the way you see attraction for the rest of your life. Hey folks, imagine this. You're at a concert. The crowd is loud, the lights are flashing, everyone's screaming. But then suddenly the music stops. Dead silence. No sound, no noise, just stillness. What happens? Every single head turns toward the stage. Every eye searches. Every heartbeat sinks to the tension of that silence. That's what real masculine presence feels like. It's not about the constant noise you make. It's about the silence you can hold. Most men think obsession is created by more sound, more effort, more giving. But obsession is born in the quiet, in the contrast, in the moment when you don't do what everyone else does. My friends, you've been lied to. They told you that kindness alone makes someone stay. They told you that being always available is the secret to love. They told you that showering them with gifts, good mornings, and endless validation is the way to make them obsess. But listen carefully. Obsession is never born from comfort. It's born from tension. It's born from the mystery of not knowing, the spark of unpredictability, the sudden silence after the music. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Stop talking about what a good man should be and just be one." And that's what this is about. Not words, not explanations, not desperate effort. Being. Existing with such grounded strength that your very absence becomes unforgettable. Let me put it this way. Picture yourself as a lighthouse on a stormy sea. Ships don't cling to the lighthouse, folks. They're guided by it. They move because of it, not the other way around. Your power isn't in chasing every wave that crashes against you. It's standing tall, shining steady, letting the storm exhaust itself while you remain unshaken. That's the kind of presence that doesn't just attract, it obsesses. Because the truth is, most people are like waves, emotional, reactive, crashing one way today and another tomorrow. But when you're the lighthouse, when you're still, silent, grounded, that's when they can't stop thinking about you. Why? Because you've become the rare thing in a world addicted to noise, stability wrapped in mystery. Now, here's the fun part. Think of all those times you sent a double text, thinking it would bring them closer, only to push them farther away. Or when you bent over backwards to please, and instead of gratitude, you got indifference. That's not bad luck. That's the law of attraction misunderstood. Folks, you don't become unforgettable by being easy to reach. You become unforgettable by being worth the reach, by being the man who doesn't fold just because someone pulled away. That's not cruelty, that's composure. That's not playing games, that's playing life on your terms. And it flips everything upside down. So here's the eye-opener. Do this once, just once, and you'll live in their head for life. Not because you begged, not because you proved, not because you gave everything, but because you showed you didn't need to. That's what burns into memory. That's what wakes people up at night wondering, how did I let that go? And here's the beauty. You don't even need to be perfect, my friends. You just need to be disciplined enough to withhold what everyone else throws away. That's the power of detachment. That's the seed of obsession. So as we dive in, I want you to remember this. Obsession isn't about doing more, it's about being more grounded, more centered, more disciplined. And if you're ready to step into that energy, write it down below. I am unforgettable. Say it, claim it, show yourself and show the world. And while you're at it, hit that like button and subscribe, because this journey we're on isn't about chasing, it's about becoming. Stay with me, because what's coming next will flip the way you think about attraction forever. Number 1, the lie they sold you. The more you give, the less they value. That truth stings, doesn't it, my friends? We've been fed the opposite since childhood. Every movie, every love song, every soft piece of advice from well-meaning people around you whispered the same lie. Give them more, shower them with attention, bend your back, sacrifice yourself, and they will love you forever. But if that worked, why are so many good men, kind men, generous men the very ones left standing alone? Why do they end up forgotten while the ones who do less, the ones who remain scarce, become the ones they can't stop obsessing over? It's because they never told you the truth. Human nature doesn't obsess over what it owns. It obsesses over what it fears it might lose. Imagine this, folks. You walk into a bakery. The smell of fresh bread is in the air, loaves stacked everywhere, pastries lined up to the ceiling. Everything is cheap, available, endless. You buy one, maybe two, and walk away. No big deal. Now imagine the same bakery, but this time only one loaf is left on the shelf. The sign above it says, "Last one until next week." Suddenly, people start circling, the air thick with tension. Everyone wants it, and whoever gets it will value it like treasure. That's the psychology at play. When they feel you are endless, available, predictable, they'll take you for granted. But when they sense you are rare, disciplined, a man not easily bent, suddenly you become unforgettable. That's the lie they sold you. They told you to be like the first bakery, always full, always available. But obsession is born in scarcity, not abundance. Now ask yourself, how many times have you confused giving with growing? How many times did you think that another text, another compliment, another favor would seal their love for you? And how many times did it backfire, leaving you more invisible than before? That fear inside you, the fear that if you stop giving, they'll leave, that fear is the very chain keeping you enslaved. And the cruel irony is this: the more you act out of that fear, the more you guarantee the very outcome you're terrified of. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." Yet most men chain themselves to the reactions of others, handing over their freedom just to keep someone around who never valued them in the first place. My friends, here's the hard pill. They don't crave your endless kindness. They don't lie awake at night, replaying the memory of you answering every message in seconds. That doesn't create obsession, it creates comfort. And comfort kills desire. What shakes their core, what imprints on their memory, is the one time you didn't bend. The moment you didn't reply instantly, the moment you didn't fold under their games, the moment you chose yourself over chasing their mood. That's when something shifts. That's when they start to wonder. That's when they obsess. Think of fire. Fire only burns because of oxygen and space. If you smother it, it dies. If you control the air too tightly, the flame disappears. Relationships are the same. Too much giving, too much attention, too much availability suffocates the flame. But when you pull back, when you give space, the fire feeds itself. That's what most men never understand. They think they're building love by piling wood endlessly, when really they're smothering it. The lie they sold you made you the suffocator of your own attraction. And yes, it's difficult. It's hard to stay silent when you want to speak. It's hard to hold back when your heart is screaming to give. It's hard to resist double texting when your chest is burning with anxiety. That's why most men fail. Because it takes discipline to break the lie. It takes strength to not fold when every bone in your body says, reach out, explain yourself, give more. But my friends, that's exactly why it works. Because strength is rare, self-control is rare, scarcity is rare, and what is rare always becomes obsession. The lie they sold you keeps you small. It convinces you that your worth is measured by how much you give away, how much of yourself you hand over. But let me ask you this, what do you value more, the free drink someone hands you on the street, or the watch you worked months to buy with your own money? You already know the answer. What is earned, what costs something, becomes priceless. And the same is true with you. When they must earn your time, your attention, your softness, that's when it becomes unforgettable. That's when they realize you are not like the rest. So rise from that fear, the fear that says if you stop giving, you'll lose them. Replace it with this truth. If they only stay because you give endlessly, you never had them in the first place. And if they leave when you finally respect yourself, then you didn't lose anything. You gained your freedom back. You gained your power back. And paradoxically, that's when they'll feel the loss most deeply. Because now your absence speaks louder than all your words combined. Remember this, folks. They may not obsess over the man who gave them everything, but they will never forget the man who showed them he didn't need to. That's the crack in their mind that never closes. That's the seed of obsession that grows when you stop watering their comfort, and it starts with breaking the lie. So write it down in the comments right now. I break the lie. Say it, claim it. Show yourself, show the world, show the ones who once thought you'd bend forever. Because once you break that lie, once you take back your worth, you will never move the same again. Stay with me, my friends, because in the next step, we'll go even deeper. We'll uncover the exact act that flips the script and burns your presence into their memory for life. Don't go anywhere, because this is where everything changes. Number 2, the power of one act. Sometimes one moment defines a lifetime. My friends, that quote hits harder than you think, because obsession doesn't come from the endless list of things you've done for them. It doesn't come from the dozens of good mornings, the constant check-ins, or the way you've bent your back to prove yourself. It comes from one act. Just one, a single act of masculine composure that shakes their expectations, breaks their pattern, and burns into their memory like lightning across the night sky. You don't need to perform endlessly. You don't need to audition for love. You just need one act where you hold the line, and suddenly they will never forget you. Imagine this with me, folks. You're at sea, and the waves are wild. Most men are boats, rocking with every current, swaying with every tide. The storm shifts, and they panic. But then there's the lighthouse. It doesn't move, it doesn't flinch, it stands. And that one image, the tower of strength against chaos, burns into the mind of every sailor who ever saw it. That's the power of one act, the act where you don't sway when everyone else does. The act where you don't chase when they pull away. The act where you don't explain yourself when tested. That one act separates you from every other man who folded. And once they've seen it, they can't unsee it. Now here's the uncomfortable truth. Most men never get to that act. They collapse before it comes. The moment she pulls back, they panic. The moment she gets cold, they overcompensate. The moment silence falls, they fill it with words. They rob themselves of the very moment that could have burned their presence into her nervous system forever. Why? Because they're addicted to reaction, addicted to validation, addicted to the lie that if they don't move, they'll lose. But here's the paradox. When you don't move, when you stay still, you become unforgettable. Think about a movie cliffhanger. Why do we obsess over them? It's not the scenes that gave us closure. It's the one moment where the story stopped, unresolved, leaving us desperate for the next frame. That's what this one act does to them. It creates an emotional cliffhanger. They expected you to fold. They expected you to react. They expected you to chase. And instead, you did nothing. That nothing becomes everything. It rewires her perception of you. Suddenly, you're not predictable. Suddenly, you're not like the rest. Suddenly, you're the cliffhanger she replays over and over in her mind. But let's break the lie here. This isn't about playing cold forever. This isn't about becoming stone or shutting down. That's not power. That's fear, hiding in silence. The act I'm talking about is conscious, controlled, rooted in self-respect. It's the one act where you show them that your world doesn't revolve around their moods, that your emotions aren't on demand, that your value isn't handed out like candy. And when you do that, not with arrogance but with quiet discipline, they feel it in their bones. Because it's rare, because it's different, because it's the act every other man was too weak to perform. And yes, it's difficult. It feels unnatural the first time. Your chest will tighten, your mind will scream, you'll want to cave, you'll want to break the silence, to prove your worth, to remind them you're still there. But, my friends, that exact resistance is the price of power. That's why obsession doesn't come cheap. It's reserved for the man who can resist the urge to fold. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength, and that's the essence of this one act. You're not controlling them, you're controlling yourself, and that's what makes them feel your power. Picture a stage performance. Thousands of words, songs, and scenes happen, but the audience always remembers that one moment. That scene where the actor said nothing, just stood in silence and let the entire theater hang on their presence. That's you. That's the act. And when you do it once, even once, you become the scene they replay long after the curtain closes. So here's what I want you to grasp. You don't need 1,000 acts of validation to make someone stay. You don't need to drown them in effort to be unforgettable. You need one act of discipline, one act of composure, one act of silence when every part of you wants to scream. That one act doesn't just change their perception, it changes yours. It proves to you that you're not a slave to fear, not chained to reaction, not defined by their attention. You're free, and freedom is magnetic. Write this down in the comments right now. One act defines me. Say it, claim it, because that's the truth that flips everything. And remember, folks, this is only the beginning. Because once you understand the power of this one act, the next step is learning where that power comes alive most, inside silence. Stay with me, because what's coming next will show you why the quietest move you make will echo the loudest in their mind. Number 3, obsession is born in silence. Silence is a source of great strength. Those were the words of Lao Tzu, and my friends, they've never been more true than when it comes to attraction. Because here's the truth, words can only go so far. Declarations, explanations, confessions, paragraphs of emotion, they rarely create obsession. What burns into their mind isn't what you said, but what you refused to say. It's not the noise you made, but the silence you held. Obsession is not born in the comfort of constant chatter, it's born in the tension of quiet absence. Picture this with me, folks. You walk into a crowded room. People are laughing, music is playing, voices overlap each other. It's all noise. Now suddenly, the room goes still. Every voice stops. Every instrument goes quiet. The silence becomes deafening, and instantly, everyone feels it. Eyes shift, minds race, tension thickens. That's the power of silence. It doesn't need to shout to be heard. It forces others to lean in, to notice, to wonder. And that's exactly what happens in relationships. When you stop filling every gap, when you stop chasing every pause, when you allow silence to live, you create an emotional vacuum. And here's the law of nature, folks. Vacuums always get filled. They can't help it. And in that space, they start to obsess. Now let's break the lie. You've been told that communication is everything, that if you just say more, explain more, text more, call more, you'll win their heart. But that's only half the story. Yes, communication matters. But so does the pause, the breath, the absence. Too much noise makes your presence cheap. Too many words dilute your impact. If every second of their day is filled with you, where is the space for them to miss you? Where is the tension, the curiosity, the hunger? Obsession is not born when they always know where you are. It's born when they start asking, where did he go? Think of silence like seasoning in a dish. The right amount makes every flavor pop, but dump the whole jar in and you ruin it. Words are the same. Too many and you smother the taste of your presence. But when you hold back, when you let silence linger, it's like leaving the dish just slightly unfinished. They can't stop thinking about it. They crave another bite. That's obsession, not because you gave too much, but because you gave just enough, then stepped back. And yes, it's difficult. Silence feels heavy. It feels unnatural when you've been trained to fix everything with words. When they pull back, your instinct is to close the gap. When they test you with distance, your gut screams to chase. But silence is the test of your discipline. It's the moment where your frame is either exposed as weak or revealed as unshakable. Because when you can sit in silence, when you can withstand the discomfort of not knowing, you become rare, and what is rare becomes unforgettable. Let me ask you this. Why do people remember the one teacher who paused before delivering a lesson? Why do they remember the one performer who stood in silence on stage, commanding the crowd without a word? Because silence magnifies presence. It makes every action echo louder. And when you apply that in your relationships, when you resist the urge to fill every gap with your need for validation, you create the very space where obsession takes root. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have." And nothing illustrates this better than the way men chase noise. You think that if you just say the right words, you'll get control. But real control comes when you stop trying to force it, when you withhold, when you let the silence do the work. That's when they start pacing, checking their phone, replaying your last words, wondering why you didn't reply. And every minute of silence isn't emptiness, it's pressure, it's weight. It's the kind of tension that digs deep under the skin and lingers long after your words would have been forgotten. So yes, silence is uncomfortable, but discomfort is the birthplace of obsession. It's where desire grows, where curiosity burns, where mystery takes shape. Every second you can hold silence without breaking, you rise in their mind. You become bigger, stronger, harder to forget. Because silence, my friends, is not the absence of communication. It's the highest form of it. So write it down in the comments right now. My silence has power. Claim it. Show yourself. Show the world. Because when you finally stop filling every void with words, when you let silence be your strength, you'll see the shift. They'll lean in, they'll start chasing, they'll start obsessing, and this is just the beginning, because now that you understand the power of silence, the next step is even deeper, becoming the mystery they can't solve. Stay with me, my friends, because what's coming next will flip everything they thought they knew about you. Number 4. The mystery they can't solve. The less you reveal, the more they wonder. My friends, that simple truth explains why some men fade into memory while others are etched into it forever. See, they don't obsess over what they fully understand. They obsess over what they can't quite figure out. Predictability is comfortable, but it never creates fire. Mystery, however, that's gasoline poured onto sparks. And when you live in a way they can't easily decode, when you don't hand them every piece of the puzzle, that's when their mind begins to orbit around you. Imagine this, folks. You pick up a novel and the first page already tells you the plot, the ending, every twist, every secret. You'd toss it aside, wouldn't you? Because there's nothing left to discover. Now, imagine another book. One with missing pages, sudden pauses, unexpected turns. You stay up at night, flipping through, desperate to find answers. That's the psychology at play here. When you're too available, too transparent, too predictable, you become the first book, finished before it even begins. But when you hold parts of yourself back, when you move with unpredictability wrapped in control, you become the second book. They'll keep reading you long after they've closed every other chapter of their life. The lie they sold you is that honesty means exposure, that to connect, you must spill everything, your emotions, your schedule, your thoughts, your fears, instantly and endlessly. But that's not truth. That's desperation, disguised as openness. Real connection isn't built by throwing your soul onto the table at once. It's built in layers. It's built in the tension between what's known and what's hidden. Because the human mind doesn't crave what it already owns. It craves what it can't yet grasp. Think about magic shows. You know deep down it's a trick, yet you can't stop staring because you don't know how it's done. That mystery pulls you in. It demands your attention. Relationships work the same way. If they can predict every move you'll make, you become ordinary. But if they can't solve you, if you show warmth, then composure. If you open a door, then step back. If you reveal just enough, then withdraw. You create the same effect as a magician. They'll lean in, captivated, trying to understand. And in that curiosity, obsession grows. Now let's face the fear. Many men are terrified of being mysterious because they think it means being distant, cold, or uninterested. But mystery isn't about being absent, it's about being selective. It's about knowing that not every part of you has to be served on demand, that your emotions, your time, your softness are privileges, not entitlements. And the moment you live like that, they feel it. They can sense that there are chapters of you not yet unlocked, depths they haven't touched. And the unknown becomes irresistible. Marcus Aurelius said, "The secret of all victory lies in the organization of the non-obvious." What does that mean for you? It means power isn't in what everyone sees, it's in what they can't. It's in your ability to carry a calm presence that suggests there's more beneath the surface, that you're not just another man reacting to every mood or seeking validation like a hungry child. You're grounded, composed, unreadable. And the more unreadable you are, the more they read into you. Here's a metaphor for you, folks. Think about the moon. You only see one side of it. The other remains hidden, mysterious, unreachable. And yet, for centuries, poets, lovers, and dreamers have obsessed over it. Not because of what they could touch, but because of what they couldn't. You must become like the moon, part revealed, part concealed, forever leaving space for wonder. That's how you burn into their imagination. But make no mistake, this isn't easy. To hold mystery, you must hold yourself. You must resist the urge to overshare just to feel accepted. You must resist the panic that silence means loss. You must stand in your frame, knowing that the very thing you're withholding is the very thing that makes you unforgettable. That's why most men can't do it. They collapse into exposure, thinking honesty means confession, when in reality, honesty means discipline. The discipline to share only what strengthens you, never what weakens you. And when you master that, you'll notice the shift. Suddenly, they'll linger longer on your words. They'll replay your last text. They'll overanalyze your silence. They'll start asking their friends what you meant, why you didn't reply, what you're doing. You've become the puzzle piece they can't place, the unfinished sentence they can't forget. And the more they try to solve you, the deeper they fall into obsession. So here's your reminder, my friends. You don't need to be fully understood to be fully valued. In fact, it's the opposite. The less they can pin you down, the more they crave you. Write this in the comments right now. I am the mystery. Say it, claim it, because mystery isn't a game. It's a presence. It's a discipline. It's the quiet power of knowing that not every part of you needs to be revealed at once. Stay with me, folks, because now that you understand the magnetism of mystery, we're about to face the fire directly. Next, we're stepping into the battlefield of their tests, the moments where they push to see if you'll bend. And when you don't? That's when obsession takes root for life. Don't go anywhere. What's coming next is where boys collapse, but men rise. Number 5. When they test, you don't bend. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Marcus Aurelius left us those words, my friends, and they land like thunder when you apply them to relationships. Because here's the unspoken truth. They will test you. Not because they are cruel, not because they want to destroy you, but because deep down they need to know if your frame is real. They need to see if you are the man who can weather their storm, or if you're just another weak branch ready to snap. Imagine this. A blacksmith doesn't trust a sword until it's been through fire. Heated, hammered, folded, beaten. Only then is it considered worthy. The same applies here. They'll ghost you, flirt with others in front of you, pull away suddenly, or throw sharp words just to see if you'll crack. It's not always conscious. Sometimes it's instinct. But make no mistake, it's a test. And most men fail it instantly. They panic. They react. They send the desperate message. They get jealous. They fold. And the second they do, the mystery dies, the respect dies, and with it, the obsession that could have been born. Now, let's break the lie. You've been told that reacting quickly, reassuring instantly, and fighting for their attention proves your love. Wrong. That doesn't prove love. It proves dependence. It tells them your emotions are theirs to control, that you will bend at the slightest pressure, and nothing kills attraction faster than knowing she can pull one string and watch you unravel. The truth is, the moment you show you can't hold steady, you lose. Because they weren't looking for your collapse, they were looking for your composure. Think about a storm at sea. The waves crash, the wind howls, lightning rips across the sky. Every ship is tossed about, some breaking, some sinking. But then there's the mountain. It doesn't move, it doesn't shake. It takes the storm and remains. That's you when they test. You're not the ship that panics at every wave. You're the mountain that stands unshaken. And when they see that, something deep inside them changes. Because now, you're not just another man. You're the one who didn't bend. My friends, this isn't about arrogance. This isn't about playing games or pretending to be unaffected. It's about real discipline. When they ghost you, can you stay calm instead of chasing? When they throw bait, can you smile and let it pass instead of biting? When they push your buttons, can you remain focused on your mission instead of exploding? These moments define you more than any words you could say, because words are easy. Anyone can say, "I'm strong." But silence in the face of provocation, that's strength you can't fake. And yes, it will feel like fire. Your chest will tighten, your ego will scream, your mind will tell you to react, to prove, to chase. But that's where growth lives, right in that fire. If you can sit with that discomfort, if you can resist the urge to fold, you'll discover a power most men never touch. That's why very few men become unforgettable, because very few men can withstand the test. They break, they bend, they crawl back. But the man who stands still, he's etched into memory forever. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." That's what these tests are really about. They want to know, are you free or are you enslaved to their reactions? If your peace collapses every time they withdraw, you're not free, you're chained. But if you remain calm, grounded, steady, you show them a rare truth. You belong to yourself first, and that is what they obsess over. Not your words, not your gifts, but your ability to remain whole in their chaos. Here's the irony. When you don't bend, they often bend first. They'll come back after the ghosting. They'll reach out after the silence. They'll shift their tone after the games. Not because you forced them, but because your strength revealed their weakness. You became the mirror showing them what discipline looks like, and they couldn't look away. That's when obsession takes root. Not because you chased, but because you didn't. Not because you shouted, but because you stood silent. So here's what I want you to write in the comments right now. I do not bend. Let it be your affirmation, your reminder, your standard. Show yourself, show the world, because the man who does not bend becomes unforgettable. And once you pass that test, once you refuse to fold where every other man collapsed, you'll notice the shift. Their behavior changes, their tone changes, their attention sharpens. Because you've proven yourself in the only way that matters, not by chasing storms, but by being the mountain that outlasts them. Stay with me, folks, because now that we've broken down the tests and revealed the power of not bending, we're about to take it even deeper. Next, we'll uncover the exact shift that happens inside their mind when you hold your frame. The moment where curiosity turns into obsession and attraction turns into reverence. Don't move, because this is where everything tilts in your favor. Number 6. The shift in their mind. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Marcus Aurelius said this, and my friends, this is exactly where the game flips. Because once you've held your silence, once you've refused to bend under their tests, something changes, not just in you, but in them. Their entire perception of you begins to shift. At first, they thought they had you figured out. They thought you'd be like the rest, predictable, available, desperate to please. But then you didn't fold. You didn't run after them when they pulled away. You didn't explode when they tested you. You stood firm. And that one act, that one display of self-control, planted a seed in their mind that keeps growing. Did I ever really have him? Let me paint this for you, folks. Imagine someone pulling on a rope. They're used to others pulling back instantly, creating tension, giving them resistance. But what happens when they pull and there's nothing? No reaction, no tug of war, just calm, stillness. It throws them off balance. Suddenly, the one who thought they had control realizes they don't. That's the shift. That's when their mind starts racing, because unpredictability creates curiosity. And curiosity, when it lingers, turns into obsession. This is why silence and composure are so powerful, because when they can't predict you, they can't ignore you. They begin replaying old conversations, searching for clues, asking themselves questions they can't answer. Why hasn't he texted? What does this mean? Did I do something wrong? And every unanswered question pulls them deeper into your orbit. You've gone from being background noise to being the loudest thought in their head. The lie they sold you is that obsession is created by giving more effort, more attention, more reassurance. But the truth is the opposite. Obsession begins when you take something away, when you withhold the one thing they thought they owned, your constant availability. It's in that absence that the shift happens, because now they're not reacting to your pursuit, they're reacting to your silence. And that silence forces them to confront a new reality. You are not under their control. Think of it like a fire alarm. When it rings, it's loud, it's obvious, it's annoying. People eventually tune it out. But when it suddenly stops, everyone freezes. The silence is scarier than the sound. That's what happens in their mind when you don't react. They're used to the noise, the validation, the predictable attention. But when it stops, the silence becomes the alarm, and they can't stop listening for it. My friends, this is where their behavior starts to change. At first, they might throw out a breadcrumb, a random text, a story aimed at you, a "hey" out of nowhere, just to see if they can pull you back. If you bite, the spell breaks. But if you hold your frame, if you give nothing but calm presence, that's when the obsession deepens. Because now you've become something they can't shake. You've become the question without an answer, the cliffhanger without resolution. And the human mind hates unresolved tension. It clings to it. It replays it. It obsesses over it. Yes, it's uncomfortable. Yes, it takes discipline. But think of what's happening on their side. When they're alone at night, scrolling through their phone, they stop at your name. They wonder why you haven't reached out. They replay that last conversation in their mind. They ask their friends what it means. You've become larger than life, not by doing more, but by doing less. Not by chasing, but by holding. Not by bending, but by standing. And this shift doesn't just change how they see you, it changes how you see yourself. Suddenly, you realize you don't need their validation to feel strong. You don't need their attention to feel worthy. You've built strength from the inside, and that inner strength radiates outward, making you even harder to ignore. Because the truth is, people don't obsess over what they own. They obsess over what they fear they've lost. And when you stop giving yourself away so freely, you become that loss they can't stop thinking about. So here's what I want you to write in the comments right now. I am the shift. Say it, own it, because that's exactly what you are. You're not chasing, you're not folding, you're not bending, you're shifting their entire perception. You're becoming the rare man who doesn't break under pressure, and that shift, once it happens, is irreversible. Stay with me, my friends. Because now that you understand how their mind shifts when you hold your silence, it's time to step into the rarest level of all, the edge most men never reach. And once you touch that edge, obsession isn't just possible, it's inevitable. Don't go anywhere, because the next part is where you step into the territory of legends. Number 7. The edge most men never reach. The man who conquers himself is greater than the man who conquers 1,000 in battle. Those words from the Buddha, my friends, cut to the very heart of what we're about to dive into, because this is the edge, the rare space most men never touch. Not because it's impossible, but because it demands a kind of strength that doesn't scream, doesn't beg, doesn't need to prove. It demands self-mastery, and that, right there, is why so many men fall short. They can't sit in their own silence without reaching for validation. They can't resist the temptation to fold when tested. They can't hold their frame long enough for the shift to take root. And so they die, ordinary in someone's memory, forgotten as just another man who broke too soon. But the man who reaches this edge, he becomes unforgettable, not because he played games, not because he was the loudest or flashiest, but because he showed something rarer than wealth, rarer than looks, rarer than charm. He showed discipline, and discipline in a world of weak reactions becomes magnetic. Picture a cliff high above the sea, folks. The waves crash against it every single day. The water screams, the wind howls, the storms pound relentlessly. And yet, that cliff remains unmoved, year after year. People who see it are struck with awe. Why? Because it represents permanence in a world of chaos. That's what this edge looks like in you. Every test they throw, every silence they push, every game they play, you stand. You don't need to collapse into emotion. You don't need to prove yourself with desperate words. You let the storm rage, and you remain. That kind of composure isn't just attractive, it's addictive. The reason most men never reach this level is because it feels unnatural. We live in a culture of instant gratification. Everything is fast. Texts, likes, reactions. We've been trained to believe speed equals strength. But real power moves slowly. Real power waits. Real power knows it has nothing to prove. And when you embody that, they feel it in their bones. Because you're no longer dancing to their tune, you're playing your own. And they can't stop listening. Here's the truth that flips the script. They don't obsess over the man who gave everything. They obsess over the man who had the courage to give less. They don't stay up at night thinking about the one who reacted instantly. They stay up replaying the man who didn't move when they pushed. Why? Because discipline creates scarcity, and scarcity creates value. That's the edge, my friends. The place where your silence, your restraint, your composure becomes more powerful than anything you could have said or done. And let's get real, it's hard. Your ego will scream, your fear will whisper that you're losing them, you'll feel the pull to break. But that's exactly why this edge is rare, because it's a battle with yourself, not with them. The moment you conquer that battle, the world bends differently around you. They start to chase, they start to question, they start to obsess, not because you manipulated them, but because you finally mastered yourself. And that, my friends, is the most attractive force on earth. Think of a fire again. It doesn't beg anyone to notice it. It just burns, and people can't help but gather around. That's what you become when you hit this edge. You're not running after attention. You're the fire that makes attention run after you. And here's the paradox. The less you care about being unforgettable, the more unforgettable you become. Because you stopped needing, you stopped chasing, you became the man who lives from his own center. So write it down in the comments right now. I am unshakable. Claim it. Own it. Because when you finally touch this edge, when you master the art of not bending, of not breaking, of not needing, you step into the rarest category of men alive. The kind remembered not for what they gave away desperately, but for what they withheld wisely. And here's my call to you, folks. If this message hit hard, if it opened your eyes, if it stirred something deep inside you, don't just sit with it. Show it, share it, press that like button, subscribe to this channel, and spread this truth with the world. Because what we're building here isn't just content. It's a brotherhood of men who refuse to be ordinary, who refuse to bend, who live unforgettable. And you, my friend, are part of it now. Stay strong, stay disciplined, stay unshakable. Because once you master yourself, you won't just attract attention, you'll command obsession. And that edge, that's where you live for life.